Hi, this is Dr. A, and I'm coming to you from up in the Rocky Mountains. Want to spend just a moment before we actually show Health by Design, our new documentary that's all about how do we create optimal health, metabolic health, as well as longevity. So we went to Spain, to Galicia, which is going to be Spain's first blue zone, which means an area where people live to be over 100 and really investigate what are the components that allow people to live so long. 12% of people in Galicia live to be over 100. That's pretty impressive. Learned so much. So excited about sharing this with you. One of the key parts of what we do in Optavia is community. And everything throughout, everywhere we went in Spain, there was this sense of community in Galicia, they don't have friends, they have neighbors. And they live together, they take care of each other, they hang out and sing in the evenings, have a lot of fun. There's more fun and stress in Galicia, that's for sure. But one of the things that really stood out when I interviewed Marina, which you'll see is a 102-year-old, was her self-reliance. She was basically absolutely focused on walking herself. Of course, she had a couple canes, but she didn't have a walker. She wasn't in a wheelchair. We walked into this park and we sat there, and she said, "We content us." She said, "I'm so happy." And I watched this 102-year-old lady work on set with us for several hours. Then basically we went back in the crew, and we went to grab something to eat, and we're sitting in this little cafe, and in comes Marina like at 5:30 after a whole day of shooting. She's coming in and having a little glass of wine, sitting there with her daughter and her friends, and just enjoying it, just smiling and having so much fun. And I think really that's the key. That's one of the key things that came out for us in our time in Spain was community. And you're going to see that throughout this film. The other thing that's so important is what they eat. They don't eat processed food. I didn't see ultra processed food, unhealthy ultra processed food anywhere. They eat healthy fish. They live by the ocean, very, very green vegetables. They do drink wine. They love wine. And even though our overall recommendations now are that alcohol in general isn't healthy for you, well, I'll just leave it at that. But they seem to have a lot of fun together. The other part is I interviewed a gerontologist that focuses on cognitive health for elderly. And he said one of the key things that they do is they actually pair with reciprocal mentorship, like a 30-year-old and like a 90-year-old. The 90-year-old teaches the sagacity or wisdom of age experiences, and the younger 30-year-old teaches the older one how to use technology and put technology in a place where they can actually not be frustrated with it. So all kinds of interaction, the sense that, oh, and the cultural anthropologist in Madrid said, we basically work to live. We don't live to work. And I think there's a big lesson there. So I'm not going to give it all away. Just want to get you guys excited. We are going to incorporate many of the things we learned in this documentary into our community, including how to eat healthier, how to manage stress better, basically how to work together closer in association with each other, and many other lessons. So hope you love it. See you soon. Bye. We have not made it easy. We've made it hard to make good choices, and we made it easy to make bad choices. Over 90% of Americans are unhealthy metabolically. That doesn't bode well for our future. I think everybody knows you need to eat healthier, you need to move more, you need to sleep better, you need to handle your stress, and yet most people don't do it. We can't afford to keep treating downstream. We need to start embracing health and optimal health and well-being. So Health by Design is our explorations of places where they live longer and they live in a healthier state. And over the last week or so, we've learned quite a bit. I see more laughter than I do stress here in Spain. You walk through the park, People are laughing, there's groups together, they're smiling. Everyone that's out socializing. They incorporate the social environment into everything they do. How they eat, how they move, their paseos, going for their walks. It's all about people. We're here, we're curious, we want to learn what they're doing, what are their secrets, so we can take that back and apply it to our own mission, to our community, and to our idea of what it takes to create health and well-being.
It's a big value to feel part of something. We are here, we are together, let's enjoy this time together. When I have groups from abroad, they think that our way of living life, it's much different. We take our time. We work for life, we don't live for working. So if we need to stop and enjoy, we do that. You don't work, 70 years of your life, and then you expect the best after that, but you still live while you are working.
So Christina, what are some of the activities that foster community?
Going for walks, doing these paseos with people, going for lunch, dinner, that's how we gather together and disconnect from our daily life. When we go for a walk, our main goal in those paseos is not to exercise, but our main goal is socializing. Just start walking with no direction. That's the idea, is just go for a walk. Not only paseos, but the squares where you see people gathering together in a bench, talking. I believe it's vital to have these areas, these plazas, these public areas for society.
Paseo means walk, and they have actually corridors throughout the city of these beautiful green spaces where people are walking along and they're just laughing and talking, and there's inflection in their voices and there's passion. Those things are so critical for our health.
We are here, we are together, let's enjoy this time together. I think that's what I love.
When people are talking to us about Spain, there's a love of their country, and that's beautiful. Live life, like every day matters, it counts. That is one of the things that we need to create in the United States. We're just not in the moment. We're not there present. And I sense that is priority number one. Their love for people in general. I mean, I felt on the train. I went on the train and I had my suitcase, and I hadn't been on a Spanish train at that point. I had 5 people talking to me and telling me, helping. They embrace people. They embrace the moment.
We're here in Galicia, Spain, one of the healthiest places on the planet. It's absolutely incredible. The food, the way the people live, the community. So it's fun to finally be here, especially with you.
Yeah, no, it is. It's a ball. We've had a great time, a few days exploring the territory. And, Galicia, the people here live almost longer than anybody else in Europe. So there's some really valuable lessons we can learn here.
The underlying structure of your life is a huge, huge determinant in terms of the outcome. Here in Galicia, what I see is an underlying structure that is designed for health.
We explored Galicia because it's one of the healthiest places in Europe. Literally, the lifespan is over 85 years for women there. They bucked the trend. Most countries are suffering dramatically from metabolic poor health. They, on the other hand, are still thriving. I actually wrote in the first Habits of Health about centenarians. Who lives to be over 100, and what are the lessons we can learn from them? So Marina, when you were born in 1923, the average length of life for a woman was 40 years. You've lived to be 102. That's almost 60 years longer.
Bueno, que estoy agradecida de todos de todos ustedes. He vivido muchos años y estoy muy contenta.
What is your secret for living so long?
Pues el secreto de llegar a 100 años, yo, mira, tuve otra casa y trabajaba una, que este mundo está bien, pero también hay que trabajar y tener buena fe.
I know if I took an x-ray and looked at her hips, they're probably shot. We weren't designed to live 100 plus years. But she doesn't care. I didn't see anything but a smile on her face the whole time. People that age well, have great health span, they're ones that actually are on a path. They're open, they're curious, they want to learn and grow.
If I live to be 102 like Marina,
Yeah.
who is just so precious, full of energy, if I could live to 102 that way, those are good 102 years for me.
Really good.
But if the last 20 years of my life, or 2 decades, or 3 decades, or whatever it was, meant that the quality of life for me was diminished, I would say probably not a good deal. I want all of us to be able to focus on our health span.
Lifespan is just simply how long you're breathing. Health span is a very different thing. It's actually the years that you spend in a state where you can fully enjoy your life. Metabolic health is critical for our health span. What does metabolic health really mean? Everything in our body basically works around the organelles in our cells, which are called mitochondria. They're the powerhouses, and they convert, whatever we eat, whatever we put in our body, what we're exposed to, what we breathe, that all filters down into our mitochondria. And these mitochondria actually convert that energy down into ATP, which is a tremendous, powerful way that fuels our body. It generates heat, allows the cells to function, allows digestion, breathing, all the key attributes it is to be a human. So it's really important. And when it's honed, when it's working, it's like a concert. It's like basically the orchestra being in resonance. And there's physiologic, there's emotional, and there's actually cognitive coherence. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. But when it's out of function, it starts to deteriorate. And the body tries to compensate it first. One of the first signs is malaise. People get up, they're tired, they'd rather sleep in, hit their alarm clock and their snooze alarm. Their energy level is low. They have a little fog, like this mental fog. Those are some of the early signs. Those are the signs that those mitochondria that power your brain cells, your respiration, your muscles, all those things are now starting to become dysfunctional.
Over 90% of US adults are metabolically unhealthy, and most don't even know it.
Yeah.
Now, when somebody is experiencing metabolic dysfunction of any degree, what's actually happened inside of their system?
Yeah. Usually the earliest is a rise in your insulin. And it's insidious. It's like blood pressure. You don't know it's happening. And your insulin level starts going up, maybe 5-10 years before you have any symptoms, before your glucose even starts to rise. Your glucose rises because now your body can't compensate. Even though you don't realize it, you might start feeling just a little blah.
You can notice immediately when you're here in this part of Spain, in Galicia, body composition-wise, the people are healthier. How important is that?
Yeah.
What's actually happening when somebody starts to lose a little bit of weight?
Yeah.
There's a big difference between a healthy, safe weight loss,
Right.
when that weight is coming off, when they're losing the fat, as contrasted with when you're losing weight and maybe you're losing more lean mass, or
Right.
specifically lean muscle in the process.
Yeah. And I think it's important to distinguish that because there's two types of adiposity, two main types. And one is called visceral, which means it's surrounding the organs. The other is subcutaneous. So if you think about your belly or your rear, the stuff outside that you can pinch, that's relatively healthy. In fact, fat is very important. It's an endocrine organ. It's important for storage. It's important for all kinds of functions within the body. But what ends up happening, especially in the United States where we have excessive calories, we have to store it somewhere. Your body will continue to take the energy and has to store it.
Yep.
And if your insulin level is high, because of the ultra unhealthy processed food we eat, it's stimulating your insulin. And when your insulin gets stimulated, it says store, and it says don't burn, store. So the fat cells cannot
burn. They cannot create lipolysis, which is the act of taking the fat, which is normally a great depot, and so it just continues to grow. And it goes inside your liver, and it goes in even in your muscle, and it goes specifically in your fat cells. And as soon as that happens, inflammation, leukotrienes, thromboxanes, all these nasty chemicals are released, and they cause a 5-alarm fire throughout our body. And that's when the rapid change in your blood sugar goes up. You get fog in your brain, and it actually leads to cognitive decline, Alzheimer's, and all these cognitive dysfunction. It does all these things that are so dysfunctional.
David, one of the things he's looked at and studies, what allows the people in Galicia to be mentally so healthy?
So something interesting for me is how stress affects the brain, affects cognition, how cortisol affects quality of living and quality of thinking. We have more and more evidence about how living a stressful life impacting your brain health, and this is important.
Stress directly releases cortisol and epinephrine. Both of those hormones affect our blood sugar. They increase insulin release, and they're not healthy. Chronically, it's a major, major problem. And one of the things I see here in Spain is that the ability to relate and communicate, right? That socialization, that eating together, that moving together, that hanging out in the parks together, it's that extended community where people feel safe. So one of the things, when I started looking at how do we help people create health and well-being, was community. So that's so big. And I hear that probably of all the things you've talked about today, that's probably the most important.
In Galician rural areas, we have strong family relationships, and then we talk about neighbors, vecinos. All adults, they need the sense of if they need help, they can get this help from their neighbors.
David talked about the interaction between family and friends. The people around you, your neighbors, are your friends, and they perform several duties. One is security. You have that sense of security that if you need something, if grandma's there and you have to go do something, there are 10 neighbors that can take care of her just like that.
We have a strong family boundaries, and probably if you have met centenarian people, they have a strong presence of family in their lives. Another important thing is routine. I think most of the centenarian people you can meet, they have strong routines, and most of these routines are built in family lives.
Tell me about your familia.
Y entonces nosotros vivimos solos, pero estamos bastante bien. Y ando va con la hija y ella, pero ella es mía y me quiere. Y todos estamos muy bien.
When we're out in the community and we're seeing how the community is connected to each other, all the things that we talk about in our business, the importance of having that community, of having those biobehavioral barriers that you've talked about for years, that makes the choices for good health easier because of who you're surrounding yourself with, is so critical.
We're replicating what we see here in Galicia. We're putting you in a community where people will take you by the hand when something's going on. They'll listen, which is something that's such a rare skill. They'll help you. They'll be part of it. They'll encourage you. We're creating a community that's focused on optimal health and optimal metabolic health.
There's different reasons why people live longer here. We have the food. We have the Atlantic diet. A lot of fish, a lot of vegetables, just simple food, simple cooking.
The seafood, they're right next to the ocean, and the seafood is incredible. I've never had such fresh fish. Fish with the omega-3s, obviously those instill, they're great for us. We know that. We know omega-3s are one of the essential things, and olive oil. I didn't see any butter anywhere. All I saw were these huge bottles of this olive oil that was so tasty, so flavorful, like it had just been pressed the day before. I mean, I felt like drinking it. I mean, it was that good. Olive oil is probably, of all the fats you can eat, is probably that, along with avocado and a little bit with coconut. Those oils are so healthy. They're monosaturated, and they're just so healthy. There's so many health benefits. It really rains in Galicia a lot. It's kind of like our Oregon or Seattle kind of area. So everything is very deep green, and all the greenery and the salads and things we had were really rich greens. So the food is incredible.
Then we have physical exercise. Most of the people have been active, doing moderate physical exercise daily in their lives.
Think about movement. The habits of healthy motion are critical for longevity. They're critical for metabolic health. They're certainly critical to help us do things as simple as mobilize our blood sugar and keep our blood sugar under control, which is a key parameter of metabolic health.
The old adults living in Galicia nowadays, they don't spend their working days in front of a computer. They work around and move. When we talk with old adults, most of them are calm people, strong routines, and also strong commitment with their lives. The big lesson is to put stress aside, to put fast food aside, to put fast life aside. We need to learn about self-control and about self-esteem, living in an active and routine and connected way.
A que llegues a mis años y con toda saber dónde están, que están muy bien, tienen muy buena forma de vida.
Where do you recommend people start? Because this is a journey towards optimal metabolic health, but where do people start?
I would say the first thing is start assessing the things we've been talking about for years. What are you eating? How are you moving? How are you sleeping? How you handle stress? Are you modifying your surroundings so they're more like they are here? And putting yourself in position to now control those things and be aware of those things and be present.
Let's use the Path of St. James, right? This famous pilgrimage. And here we are at the terminus in Santiago de Compostela. I would imagine that if I were to do the entire pilgrimage, that if I went with a group of people, I would be more likely to complete the pilgrimage. I would be more likely to arrive here in this city.
Absolutely.
We know that as humans, this has been studied.
Oh.
It's been studied over and again, that when you do it with other people, when you don't do it in isolation, when you surround yourself with like-minded people, you're on the same path, you have a destination, you are far more likely to achieve
Absolutely.
the goal.
There's a pilgrimage where people come to this incredible church, this beautiful church, and they come from, all the way from France, and they walk, and it's a slow walk, and they come and then they celebrate. And there's a sense of purpose in that pilgrimage, and so I kind of feel like we're on a pilgrimage. We have research that we've done on our mission that now shows how we can specifically affect metabolic health.
We've seen a 14% reduction in visceral fat, a 98% retention of lean body mass, and the protection of healthy muscle. It doesn't have to be so difficult.
If you actually ascribe to what we teach and learn this, you can create predictable transformation and your health can change. We have for people an easy way for them to start using our program, having a coach, becoming part of our community, and actually creating Galicia in the United States of America for all.
I would love that. I would love to take this place and bring it everywhere.
Yeah.
It's just been such a pleasure to be here with you on this incredible adventure, this incredible journey. Let's just make it as rich and as full and as healthy as possible for as long as possible.